Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. The next 10 minutes are inspired by some social media comments and a conversation I had. I hope you enjoy it. Welcome to the engine. There are few things that concern me as much as social media in general. There, there are a lot of aspects of it that everybody should be concerned about. The obvious tracking that you have TikTok, right? And that's a Chinese-based company, and track where videos are coming from. And you have Facebook, you have Instagram, you have some of the biggest companies in the world using social media platforms to effectively track and outline your life in a way that they can then use and monetize for products and whatnot. Now, I never look at the ads for something like Instagram or Facebook. I'm not even really on Facebook. I just don't really use it. But there are always ads, no matter what. I was looking up some pool filters yesterday for my little stock tank pool, and what pops up in my ads the next time I logged in? Well, these pool filters. Or I could be looking up some sweats to make for the class, and what pops up? Sweats, tactical sweats, awesome workout sweats, different kind of clothing. It's undeniable. It's just everywhere on your phone, that your phone is tracking you, and excuse me, not the computer programs, but the apps, the social media apps are tracking you as well because you use them the most. But that's not the most disturbing aspect of social media to me. The most disturbing aspect of social media is actually the social aspect for younger people. For older people my age, I don't see a lot of impact of social media on an adult psyche. Okay, I do see political nuances coming out of it. I do see people's position on things in the world coming out of it and being greatly affected by it. And I don't like that, but I don't worry about that much. I don't sit around thinking like, gosh, this is really, really bad. I think it is. I think social media has an incredible ability to promote views and allow such a variety of views, and allow them in such a way that it makes them all seem equally valid. And I think that's a problem, because just because somebody has a view, sure, it's valid, it doesn't mean it's equally valid. You can think that the earth is the center of the universe. You as a person get to have that opinion. And in having that opinion, it's your truth. It's valid to you. That doesn't mean it's equally valid to somebody else saying, well, actually, the sun is the center of the solar system and not even the universe, and earth is really not the center of anything. There you have two different opinions. Yes, they're valid because they may be held by human beings. They're not equally valid. The problem that I see with social media is the effect it has on younger people. And that's real. And that's damaging. Specifically for younger girls. There's an aspect of social feedback that guys, younger men in general, are less sensitive to than younger girls. And social media has exacerbated and taken advantage of this to the nth degree. I mean, you can look up any stats regarding teenage suicide or depression in young women, and it's really horrific, because you have the ability to socially manipulate and be anonymous and ostracize and alienate and do all of these horrific socially manipulative things through social media in a completely safe way. And it seems crazy to say it's in a safe way, but think about it. If you want to alienate somebody or kick them out of your friend group on a person-to-person basis, you also risk something. You risk something because you have to go out of your way to to do things to that person. You have to talk to the surrounding friend groups. You have to do a bunch of weird things. And that puts you at risk of seeming like a bad person, as it should. But on social media, behind a keyboard, you can send anonymous messages. You can manipulate photos and present them in a way that makes that person look bad. You can do all kinds of things easily to give this social feedback. And that's a really bad thing. And I've thought about this recently. It's like, God, how do you get people away from that? Because I remember feeling that way myself. And social media came out when I was like 21 or something, but I remember feeling frustrated or upset by these things. And then it just kind of went away. It just kind of went away. And it primarily went away because I got so much feedback on my life, not from social media, by the way. I got feedback on my life from my brother. He gave me an enormous amount of feedback with regard to what he thought I should be doing, what he thought of things I was doing. And at some point I just realized, I was like, it's too much. It's too much to try to help him understand what I'm doing. It's too much to try to explain the situation I'm in. It's too much to try to explain my goals and help him see who I am as a person. Now, my brother had good intentions. It's not like he was being malicious or intending to just be bananas or alienate me or something like that, like on a social media platform. But it just got to the point where I realized, you know what, it's not worth it. It's not worth it to listen to this feedback. I'm not getting anything out of it. And the amount of effort it takes for me to address it, it's too great. And I frankly essentially turned off the comments with my brother. I actually had to sit him down and just say, look, I don't want to hear your opinions on my life anymore. And again, I was mid-20s when I did this, and I can't say it was great for our relationship, but it was good for me because I didn't want to hear that stuff anymore. I just didn't. And after that, I stopped valuing other people's opinions as much. It's kind of like it caused a short circuit of like, I don't care anymore what anyone thinks of me. And that view has served me very well through my adult life. I take risks. I take chances. I do things that if I stopped and thought about what people would think about it, I may not do it. And there are some things where it's like, well, if I think long enough, I'm like, that maybe wasn't a good idea. But then in practice, in reality, it was a fantastic idea. I think about some of the risks I take. I think about some of the things I did with tutoring and just take the clothing, the merchandise I made for my students. All of these things, I sit back and think about, if I really thought about it instead of just acting, I likely wouldn't have done it. And here it worked out so well. And I think that could be the beauty of social media as well. I think the risk involved with it is very real and very significant. As I said, I think it increases depression. I think it increases teen suicide. I think it makes people vulnerable to social manipulation and terrible things like that. But I also think if people are strong enough and understand what's going on, it will lead them down the path of turning off the comments in their own life more quickly. And that's the great thing. I was 26 when this happened. I had gone through college, I graduated, I'd done all of these things. I was 26 by the time I was like, you know what? I don't care. Imagine if I had been 17 and I finally got to the point, because of social media, pushing and commenting and pushing and commenting to the point where it's like, what's the point? I don't care what other people think now. I don't. Keep your opinions to yourself. And naturally, the best feedback comes from a couple close people in your life. That's not what I'm talking about. If you have one or two confidants that you listen to, or at least value their opinion, wonderful. You need that. But in general, turning off the comments of other people, letting go of what other people think of you, that process may be accelerated by social media. And if it is, if it can be a catalyst to you finding you and trusting you more quickly, God bless this thing. It could truly go from being one of the most damaging, dividing forces to being one of the most empowering forces in the world. And that's a wonderful thing. So the next time you interact with some kind of feedback, some kind of comments, likes or dislikes, whatever reactions you want, and you're happy or sad about it, whatever you are, just think about whether you actually need this stuff in your life. Think about whether you really want to rely on these little digital pings to define you, to define your actions, to tell you what you're doing is right or wrong. Think about that. Because I bet if you think hard enough, you're going to realize you don't need any of that. And the sooner you can get to that point in your life, the sooner you can realize that it's all crap, the better off everyone is going to be. I'm Matt Todd, and this is the engine that drives me. Go out and crush it.